Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch or
I never played softball. It's probably the least sexy part of organizing. That's okay. No. The truth is.
So what if your next client didn't just sign a contract, but became a lifelong fan? Today's guest is Mark Stern, and he's flipping the script on how financial professionals attract, onboard, and retain high-value clients. If you're a financial advisor, CPA, wealth manager, or consultant looking to deliver results faster and keep clients coming back, this episode is your playbook. So Mark is the CEO of Custom Box Agency, an award-winning experiential marketing firm that's powered over 100 campaigns for, get this, 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. Named one of Forbes' next 1,000 entrepreneurs to watch and featured in Joey Coleman's Wall Street Journal bestseller, Never Lose an Employee Again, Mark is a master of blending physical and digital experiences to drive loyalty and revenue. So in this conversation, you're going to learn. You know what? I'm not even going to. You're going to learn a lot because before we even started recording, Mark and I were chatting, and I'm blown away already by what he does, and I'd never seen another company like this. So first of all, how's it going, Mark?
I'm thrilled to be here, Rich. Thanks for having me.
All right. So look, one of the questions I like to ask people, because I know we're going to be talking a lot about your business, but one of the things I always like to ask people is, back in high school, what was it that you always wanted to do? What was your career path?
Oh, it's so funny. You know what? It's, my gosh. High school, I think that the breadcrumbs were there about marketing in some capacity.
Right.
Because I was a kid who couldn't figure out what I wanted to do in high school, and I didn't know. I tried and tried and tried. When I was born, my feet toed in really badly. And I'm from Alabama. And when you're from Alabama, everyone wants to be a football player. Everyone loves watching Alabama and Auburn play. And I tried to play sports and I just tripped over my feet. And so I had to accept it at a young age. Maybe I'm not an athlete. Maybe sports is not for me.
Right.
It was this pursuit of what am I good at? And I tried drama and speech and debate and everything and just failed. And so from a high school standpoint, what I found was I love student government. I love creating programs that brought people together. I love just being very in tune with the student body. And so at the time, because that really got me excited in creating programs that were relevant to where we were in that part of our lives. And that was a theme that has then continued on, because when I was in college, it was the same thing. I was class president. I went to college in DC at American, not too far from you.
Oh.
And, then worked in experiential marketing afterwards. So this pathway of experiential marketing and marketing, the themes of it before I even knew it was marketing, the breadcrumbs were always there about, do you understand your audience? And do you understand how to create something that provides value to your audience? And then watch and monitor and grow it in that capacity. And so, I would love to say I thought to be a doctor or a lawyer or something else, but I think my bones and my body knew deep down an element of being a creator and being a marketer was truly who I was.
Well, the thing is, and I learned this the hard way because I definitely wasn't doing sales at first, but if you want to make money, marketing and sales is where it's at.
Yeah.
And fun.
And that's the cool thing about sales is that for any business, when people start voting with their wallet and start paying with their wallet, that's the best part of this all is it's not about what I want. It is, what is the market asking for and where are they underserved? And in that capacity, I can start to create value by creating things that are relevant to not what I think is interesting, but what they're asking for.
So what was your first marketing job?
Oh, so right out of undergrad, from undergrad to business school, I don't know what it was, but I had this dream of working on national marketing campaigns in the beverage industry. And so I moved to Chicago after undergrad and worked for a company called Legacy. Our core client was Pernod Ricard, and we were in charge of all of their nationwide marketing on premise. So what happens at bars for brands like Absolut, Jameson, Malibu, Chivas, Love, Peter, Kahlua. So heavy in the spirits realm. Dream job at 22 because they'd be like, you create a program for Stoli or Malibu and then or Jameson, and they'd say, Mark, we need you to go out to Miami or New York. Can you go secret shop? So as a 22-year-old to be flown to big cities to just sit in a bar or a venue and watch how they were executing our programs was like a dream at that age.
I thought you were going to tell me that they were sending you out to sample the product.
Lots of sampling of the product. So it's funny because in that one job, I probably had over 100 bottles of liquor. And now if you flash forward today, I don't even drink. But at the time I went to business school at Duke, so not too far from you, and walked into business school with over 100 bottles of liquor. And I just wanted to get rid of it. And anytime someone came over to drink it, they'd bring 2 more bottles of something. And so it would just continue to grow, this collection.
I was going to say, I bet a lot of fraternities were trying to recruit you, weren't they? It's like, he's got the bar already, man. Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, that's, that just sounds like so much fun. And I heard about, was it secret marketers? Or
secret shoppers. So
secret shoppers.
The whole idea is we incubate and create a program for one of these brands. Then we're deploying it nationwide. So we have local market representatives all over the country. And so they would take it and they'd own their local market and had all the venues and relationships with the local bars. And what we needed to do is sometimes after we incubated and created the program, you'd be sent to a market to say, are they executing it as planned? Or are they, you want to make sure, are they compliant? Are they making sure that no one's drinking on the job? All those little things that is the program being delivered? What is the response of the consumer? So as a secret shopper, it was kind of fun just to sit in a bar and observe and see what was going on and interact with the models. And just see, are they executing right or not?
And I remember seeing ads for that where you could become a secret shopper. Is that still a thing?
It's a thing in different industries. But it's the whole concept of, for me, it's like I don't know, you go undercover. It's kind of fun because you have this guys that nobody knows about and you're evaluating whatever the situation is. I know in Chicago when I lived there's a group called Let Us Entertain You, and they would have secret diners that literally let us entertain you. The restaurant group would pay consumers who got into the program to go eat at their restaurants, but they had a full list of things from is the host walking with you or in front of you? How is the bathroom clean? And so these secret shoppers would go in and be able to do an unbiased report to see are our restaurants in Chicago, and Let Us has tons of restaurants throughout Chicago, being deployed the way, being executed the way that is up to their standards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So after that job, how long was it before? Well, let me back up. Is Custom Box Agency your first business that you started?
No, it's actually not. So after that job, I got my MBA at Duke, and then I worked for a big consulting firm called Deloitte for many years. And so I was a road warrior traveling. And it wasn't until I had a moment that was, is this going to be my life? I'm just going to continue to go up the ranks and become a partner at Deloitte. Or, I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit and had a moment that I was like, if I continue this job, I had a fear at one point that just the intensity of traveling weekly and not ever turning off. You work 24/7 in that role. You're never off. That this job and this lifestyle will kill me. And that was kind of the motivation in 2018 to say, you've always wanted to scratch this itch and be an entrepreneur. It's time to explore it. And went all in with no plan, had no idea what I was going to do. So the first business was virtual events, how to launch a virtual event. This is pre-COVID. And we always, when we launched a virtual event, because it was so heavy digital,
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to send them tools and resources to make the digital experience more engaging. And it started with just crafting these experiences that complemented what I was doing. And it just started to take off. People are like, how are you doing this? How are you thinking through this? How did you structure this? And then we were getting all these unboxing videos of people promoting the event. Then we didn't ask them to. And these videos were averaging 3 to 7 minutes of people just talking about the physical product we sent. And that was it for me to say, okay, people need to pay attention. If you have a digital product, it's a no-brainer to complement it with something physical because it enhances and elevates that experience and helps people get results faster. And that's where it started. And I wasn't paying attention to the signs of what people were asking me. I was so focused on growing the virtual event business, but we started doing these boxes. And the long and short of it is this. It's I launched a product called Custom Box Challenge, teaching others how to do this. And I did it because I wanted to buy back my time to focus on virtual events. So people are like, how are you doing these experiences? I could say, oh, go buy this product for $27. And they would have everything they need. People went and bought the product. The product took off and was a hit. And they all came back to me saying, but we want you to build the box. And so it was COVID. And my mentor looked at me and he said, you have this business in boxes that you're starting and you have this business in virtual events. So you're confusing the market. Are you the box guy? Are you the virtual event guy? Like, pick a lane. And it's true in entrepreneurship that people don't want you to be good at everything. They want you to be known for something. And at the beginning of COVID, when everyone was becoming a virtual event expert overnight, that one pivot of saying, you know what, virtual events isn't where I need to be. There's something with these box experiences that are really powerful. That pivot to go all in on boxes was the difference between having lots of competitors to having all my competitors being potential partners of us. Because now we provided a complementary service instead of a competitive service. So that's just where it started. And it's just evolved and evolved and evolved since then.
And I think I had it wrong because in the intro, it sounded like I said it was more or less focused for, your business now was focused more for like financial professionals. But correct me if I'm wrong, it's really for anybody, right?
For anyone. The way we anchor people is customer lifecycle. There's 3 phases to your customer lifecycle. Phase 1 is how do people find you to buying your products and services? So that's acquisition. How do you acquire customers? After you acquire, phase 2 is you onboard and deliver your products and services. And then phase 3 is retention. How do you extend lifetime value? So when clients work with us, and we've worked with clients across the gamut, doctors, lawyers, chiropractors. We've worked with people that have software as a service platforms, coaching programs, online courses. You name it, the use case is very versatile, but we always anchor to say, what is the goal? Is your goal acquisition, or is it onboarding and delivery, or is it retention? And we can create an entire physical experience to help them drive that result faster.
You said online courses?
Yeah, online courses are great. We can turn it into a whole gamified experience.
I was going to say, I would think as that with people doing the online courses, your product would probably attract even more people and get people to finish the course as well.
And how we do it and how I love to do it is if you have a course, then you have a pathway that has a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
And if I know how you structure it, we love to gamify a course. And what we may do is create a journey map or some type of dashboard that shows that these are all the main stops you're going to go through as you go through my product or my course. And then we may have a box that has a series of envelopes that they earn the right to open envelope 1 or envelope 2 as they progress through the different phases or the different modules. And so imagine it being in a way that you have your game board. And as you consume one of the modules or one of the lessons, you earn the right to open a new envelope that has the tools and resources for that lesson, as well as the badge you earned for the previous lesson you completed. And you can start to peel off these badges and put them on your dashboard until you collect all the pieces. So a box experience can take a course and turn it truly into a game. And then we could take it a step further and say, you know, when you create a course, sometimes people buy a course and go through it and forget that they even have access to it.
Right.
When you think about gaming and board games, we play it again and again and again. So how do we think about our products in a way that we can educate our customers that if they experience it once, tell them that if you go through this again in 6 months, it's going to have a whole different outcome. So you can increase the longevity. So there's just so much strategy that you can build into when you build a physical product to a digital experience.
All right. So for those people that are listening, because if they don't really understand what custom box agency is, give them your elevator pitch, especially those business owners out there.
Totally. So a lot of what we look at is you have a product or service that you're selling to your customers, your clients, your members, your students. And so a lot of what we're trying to do is how do we get into your genius, the thing that you're already doing and deploying, and create a physical product in a way that buys back your time because we're able to extend your genius into the product itself. So that's how we look at it. For your customers, it's how do we gamify it or make it interesting in a way that it feels, one, like a new opportunity, and two, they have a clear action plan from beginning, middle to end to getting the result. So a lot of what we try and look at is businesses need to do a better job defining what is success for their customer. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is when I run a race or a marathon, I know when I cross the starting line, I've started the race, but I also know when I cross the finish line, I've finished the race. It's the same thing if you look at things like Taekwondo or Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. If you want to go from a Cub Scout to an Eagle Scout, if you want to go from a white belt to a black belt, there is a defined pathway for success that takes you all the way to getting the result of that goal if you set that goal. And so what we want businesses to do is do a better job defining success. And when you do, it makes it easier when your customer hits that mark, they know they've achieved it. So a lot of what we're trying to do across the board is, do you have a seamless, simple process that will help get your customers results faster and they know that they've achieved the results? And for you, is there a way that I can scale your genius by taking what you do and creating a physical product around it that buys back your time and makes it so I can scale you in a really powerful way?
Okay. So because you help all types of businesses, yes. I'm just going to pull one out of thin air here.
I told you everything's off. Nothing's off limits. So we'll see where this goes. All right,
it ain't out of thin air. It's one of my sponsors. So, let's say a realtor.
Okay.
How can your product help a realtor?
Yeah, and so there's a lot of different ways we've leveraged it for realtors. So one of the things that we can do, and actually you can see right here, Krista Mashore Coaching. Krista runs a business, and she has a coaching program that people pay, I think, a minimum for her core coaching program. It's like $25,000 for the year.
Wow.
And so what they're learning as realtors, she teaches people how to dominate their local markets, even if they're brand new to the game. So how do you take the people who are loud and have been in the game for years and have a bigger market presence and be able to compete with them head on? And so what we did was we went through her program, her whole methodology, and built out the workbooks, the tools, the resources. So as she takes her genius and then sells this product, and she sold millions and millions and millions of dollars of her services, tens of millions of dollars. Rather than her having to use her genius and like her time to educate, we were able to turn her into a whole physical box form that helped people have a step-by-step guide to understanding the steps they need to take to really dominate their local market. Other areas that we've seen in the real estate space is you may have something to say, how can I do an acquisition piece and create a local market welcome pack that may be low budget or inexpensive, so I can send that out to people? Because oftentimes when it comes to whether it's a realtor or insert any profession, sometimes people will move forward with the person that's really top of mind in front of them.
Right.
And so how do we create a top of mind campaign that provides value to them without having too much of an ask, but starting to build a relationship? And then when it's time for them to say, okay, I'm in the market for a house, whether you're a buyer or seller, we could send them a kit or package of like best practices and then leverage it and extend it as another excuse to get them on a call to be able then to close them as a client and then work with them as their realtor. So there's all different ways that you can leverage it. But if it's an acquisition play, top of mind is a big strategy. If it's an onboarding delivery play, like with Krista Mashore Coaching, it's you bought my program as a realtor, teaching you how to be a better realtor in your local market. Right. Now you have your step-by-step game plan that you literally have your journey map. Here's the journey. And then literally she did the envelopes too, because she had 10 different phases that literally guide you step-by-step through the process in a fun gamified fashion.
So have you helped any podcasters out?
One of the things we've done, so we've had conversations with podcasters, but what we have done for people in the podcast space is we've had clients. We had a client that we did a book box experience. He did a book launch, and we basically brought the book to life. So not only did you get the book, but you had supporting tools and resources that as you read the book, all the frameworks, all the insights, all the exercises, there were supporting tools and resources in the box. He leveraged this box to get on podcasts. So he leveraged it as an acquisition strategy to bring awareness. And he would send it out to different podcasters who then would invite him onto their platform because they had never received, like, it's uncommon for a podcast host to receive a physical product of someone trying to pitch them to be on their product. They're just used to getting a bunch of emails saying, you know, or doing Podmatch or other things. But it was just a different strategy that just makes you stand out in a different way. And it was cool to see, like, he got on well over 100 podcasts when he was doing that book launch as a result of doing that strategy.
That's brilliant. I like that idea. Wow. All right, so all of you listen, if you want to come on my podcast, you got to get a hold of Mark and get it done and send it to me. You're coming on right away.
You just have to send Rich gifts. If you send Rich gifts, you'll get on his podcast. Yeah.
All right, so explain, because there's 2 tools that you created, 57 Hats and Activate Deck.
Activate Deck is one of them. This one's Dash. And so there's a couple of tools we created. Yeah. Do you want me to start with 57 Hats?
Yes.
57 Hats is a product that is my product, but it shows you that, like, you could take anything and turn it into a box experience. And this product was designed in the spirit of, is it an acquisition or an onboarding delivery or a retention play? This is an acquisition play. This is a way to get clients or customers into our universe. And so what 57 Hats is it started with just a simple idea. I was driving home to Alabama for Thanksgiving one year. This was maybe 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And me as a business owner, as my business was growing, one of the big problems that I saw on my team was, as we grew, I was taking hats off of team members. So when we were a team of 3 to 5, people were wearing many, many hats in the business. They were taking on many roles. Now we're a team of over 20 in my core team. And then we have another 20 or so at our warehouse. So we're a lot bigger right now. But as we started to grow, I was pulling hats off because I could see my teammates' zones of genius. And I wanted them to not be distracted by all these other ancillary roles that didn't help them focus on their zone of genius. They went through a mourning period, which caught me off guard because they thought I was taking hats off because they weren't performing at the same level, or I didn't respect their work ethic. And that was not the case. It was literally, I want you to be stepping into the role that I hired you for and just live in your zone of genius. So once they were able to get through that, to see how the business evolved was incredible. So what the box set is it just opened up this question: do business owners actually know all the different roles that they serve in their business? And what we did was, the box experience is very simple. In less than 15 minutes, there's a game board, so think Monopoly material, that has 2 cards on it. And there's a series of cards inside it that represent all different roles that your business organization could have. And, you know, we broke it down into 5 core departments. You know, here are the 5 core departments that businesses should consider: operations, finance, delivery, marketing, and sales. And for each of those, we have cards that represent what a hat would look like. So we played off this phonetic hat of, if you're a founder or CEO, or if you're in the sales organization, a sales manager, a sales trainer. So the exercise that you do is you simply go through the deck, pull out the hats that you're currently wearing. Then we'll take you through an exercise that says, should you do this? Should you delete it? Or should you delegate it? And it just kind of gives you the evaluation criteria on whether or not this is a role you should be doing. And for those that you delegate, we ask you the question: do you have someone on your team, or can AI or automation replace it? Or is this a role you need to hire? And so that's the physical experience. The digital experience behind it is that for all the cards inside 57 Hats in the online portal, we give you job descriptions that you can swipe and edit. We give you KPIs. We give you roles and responsibilities, interview questions, sample tests, candidate skill set, all the personality tests, Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, DISC assessments that make a good candidate. So the whole idea is, I need you to have a vernacular on the hats you're wearing. And once you have a vernacular, now we can have a conversation if you should keep it or delegate it or delete it. And if you need to delegate it, now you have the tools to start to delegate it. And so part of what we wanted to do is not only showcase this as a product, but also on the back end, one of the businesses in our ecosystem is a staffing agency. So people are overwhelmed when they realize all the hats they're wearing.
Right.
We can then help them place those roles. But we have all different types of products on the back end to support that. So that's kind of where it's an acquisition play to get them into our ecosystem. And when we launched this in April, we launched it to cold traffic, and it's already sold a couple thousand units, which is insane.
How many?
A couple thousand.
Wow.
So like out of the gates, I think by day 5 on cold traffic, on meta ads, it was cool to see that it was already a profitable campaign pretty quickly. But that's what's powerful about physical, is that everyone's going digital.
Yeah.
You're seeing this rise of AI in a big way. Content was already on an exponential pre-AI. Now it's on an even more of an exponential. And you're seeing this rise of digital distrust as a result of content being such a commodity. Physical all of a sudden becomes the standout outlier. And especially when you blend the worlds together, it's just a really powerful domain. In some ways, it could be even cheaper than those acquisition costs you have for your digital assets or digital products. So that's why we love it. So I
was going to say, I could see with 57 hats, I don't know, and I don't even know if you can answer this or not, but have you had anybody that has gotten 57 hats get back to you and respond about how you actually helped their business because of the game, they were able to remove some of them hats?
It has been incredible. We've had people come to us saying they broke down in tears because they now have what they're going through. We receive emails all the time that people took their leadership team through it and they sat down with the cards to sit down and see what are the different hats. We've had people do it in specific departments. So if you ran a department, take it at a department level. We've had people use it as a self-diagnosis tool, which is what we thought. But more importantly, we've had people use it as a sales tool, which is not what we expected. And so we've had people that have literally sat down with prospects or leads and taken them through the exercise and said, if you hire us, we'll replace all these roles in your business. And to hold up a pile of cards that you could replace, it's a powerful visual in the sales process. And so we've seen so many different, this is the part that I love, is we built the product, but this is why you have to pay attention to the market, because the use case you may think that it's for, it's been like we found all new use cases. We've had people take it to high schools and teach it in entrepreneurship classes. We've had university professors buy it. We've had people come up to us about sponsorships and co-branding because they want to co-brand the product for their audience. And so just by having this physical product, it's opened up all of these conversations that we were not anticipating. And it's just fun. Right now, there's a big client of ours that operates their POE that has over, I think, 200,000 businesses in their network. Wow. And now we're about to do local market meetups with some of the businesses in their local markets using 57 hats as the feature at the happy hour dinner that we're hosting with them. So there's just all different things that have started to happen as a result of just having a physical product.
I could see how nonprofits could benefit from this as well.
Totally. With nonprofits, there's so many different angles, because you may want to do a donor route. You may have a capital campaign that you incorporate this in some capacity. There's so many things you can do around how you market the product, because things like limited edition. Limited edition is just a label. Everything on earth, there's a finite number. There's a finite number of these shirts that I'm wearing. There's a finite number of your U.S. Marine hat that you're wearing. There's a finite number. Limited edition is just a marketing term that layers on this idea of urgency and scarcity. And so I can easily create limited edition products. And to create a limited edition product versus a non-limited edition product, it doesn't cost any different, because it's how you message and put the terminology on the packaging. So there's so many strategies like that you can deploy that are really powerful with the physical product. So, and even with this one, like we have on the first 1,000 units, we have a gold seal that says founding member. So with the first 1,000 units of 57 hats, say founding member. Subsequent units that we have don't have the gold foil seal on it.
Right.
It's printed, and it's just a regular edition. But that's just showing you that, like, really the cost between the two may have been 10 cents difference to have the gold seal versus printed. But at 10 cents, it's nothing compared to, oh, I'm a founding member, or I have a founding member edition of 57 hats. And so that's just feeding into the story for the consumer. And it's all marketing.
Wow. You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. I've got to share something with you. If you're in Maryland and thinking about real estate, you've got to check out Daniel McGee and the Victory Team. A close friend of mine sold their house with them, and honestly, I was blown away by the smoothness of the process and the level of care they received. And it's not just them. Several others in my circle have had similar experiences. Daniel and his team have this personal touch that's just so rare these days. They actually listen and tailor their services to fit exactly what you need. And with fees way lower than the industry standard, you really feel like you're getting luxury service without that hefty price tag. So whether you're buying or selling, go to victoryteamsells.com and get started with Daniel McGee and his incredible team. Believe me, with them, it's not just a transaction, it's a relationship. What's the other two? Activate Deck and you said Dash?
Yeah. So Activate Deck is, and that was one because I was like, I think cards are such a powerful modality because you can move them around, especially when thinking through business strategy.
Right.
Where that one came about. And for those who are listening, like there are frameworks and systems that you're deploying in your business that could easily be turned into a physical product. So one of the things that I did with every single client we work with is I asked them the simple question, walk me through how your clients or your customers discover you to buying your products or services. Walk me through your acquisition journey. What Activate Deck is it's a brainstorming tool for people to lay out their customer acquisition strategy. It's broken down into 4 phases. How do people discover you? And we have a whole series of cards that represent different channels that people can find you on. The second category is how do you nurture them? So now they're in my world. How do I start to build a relationship and provide value to them? The third card is how do I capture them or close them? So all the means that you can, whether you close them via a sales funnel or a website or in person or a kiosk. And the last category is what you're actually delivering. So what's the product? And so with these cards, you can lay out your strategy of how you people discover you, how you nurture them, how you close them, and for your products or services. And you can just, with the Activate Deck, visualize and see, oh, here's all the things that I'm doing. And if you lay it out, what's been amazing about that product is sometimes when I speak on stages, I'll bring one to everyone in the audience and take it through them live. People start to, like, again, I've seen people break down in tears because they're like, this explains why I'm so overwhelmed. Right. I'm right now active on 15 different marketing channels and I have a team of 3. And so like that's what I would hear from them. And like, I'm like, well, can you look at these 15 and tell me which ones are working well and which ones are not? And can we prioritize them based on which one's actually adding the right value? And oh, by the way, because you have other discovery cards, are there other channels you've not explored that we can now say, I haven't thought about this as a channel, but this is a strategy I should implement? So that card deck is designed to just help you visualize your customer acquisition strategy.
Wow.
And Dash, this other product, which is landing at my warehouse this week, is for people who want to create a physical product. It's a system to help you do it in 30 days or less.
What?
And so you can literally go through the cards, and when we leverage cards, all 3 of my products have cards because I think cards, you don't have to do cards. There's all different modalities, but it made sense for the experiences and the tactile nature. But all of these, because I wanted that like Monopoly game board material. Yeah. It has the game board, it has the guidance. And then with Dash, what's great about it is once you figure out the makeup of your experience, we can help you with so many different possibilities. But once you have those cards to say, this is the experience I want, you can call our team and we can work with you to bring it to life. And the whole thing is we wanted an entry product because sometimes people don't need a fully custom product solution. They just need a faster to market solution. And so that's what that product is designed to do, to help you quickly build your own physical product in no time.
There's no other businesses out there like this, is there?
It's a blessing and a curse at the same time because the one piece of feedback I was given is emulate before you innovate. And of course, I go into the innovation category, but it all started because I was just like, I keep buying these products online and businesses make it so hard for me to get started because like I'm confused, like how to get started or what I have access to.
Right.
And when you're confused, what do? You disappear because you don't want to feel like a failure, or you ask for a refund because you're overwhelmed and just to accept the fact that maybe like people blame themselves when the reality is the experience that the business created may not have been a good one to set you up for success out of the gates anyways. Yeah. So that's where this all started for me, was like my frustration. And so that's kind of where the innovation happened of like, just send me what I need. Just send me what I need. And it evolved and evolved from there. But yeah.
I just find it amazing because, and you're right, when you go online to try to either figure out a way to start a business, to make businesses better or whatever, it can get overwhelming. It can get frustrating. I can't tell you how many courses I signed up for online and started them and never finished.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but something that people love to do, at least I know a lot of me and my friends too, are the games and cards especially. How many people play like Cards Against Humanity or stuff like that? Or like you said, even Monopoly still.
Yeah.
But for stuff like this, which will help your business, and I think especially, to help relieve stress as well.
And the other thing I want people to think about too with this is there are things you naturally save in your life. And so when we're talking about this concept of top of mind, like don't engineer something that doesn't resemble something naturally that you already save. So for instance, a book. I know people's behavior that when you read a book or buy a book, typically you don't throw it out. You put it on a bookshelf.
Right.
And so you'll see a lot of our boxes are shaped like a book because I want you to take it and I want you to put it on your bookshelf. We've had people have a trilogy of boxes that when you stack them all on the bookshelf, they start to connect and spell a word. You can see behind me the word insider. That was 3 different boxes that when you collected them, they spelled out insider.
Oh, wow.
So like that's an example of something that we save. So this is why we engineer boxes to be the size of a book. I know things with replayability you save. So that Monopoly game you may play twice a year, but the Monopoly board that I played as a kid was the same set my mother played as a little girl.
Right.
Like for whatever reason, we don't play Monopoly and take the box and throw it out. We keep the container for years, if not decades, if not generations. And so how do we start to engineer that replayability element? Because I want to take up real estate in your house. I want to create something that is of such value that you don't throw it out. And it does take up, and it keeps us top of mind. And I want to educate you to revisit it again and again. 57 hats, go through it now. But I want you to revisit this in the next 3 to 6 months because your environment changes, you change,
Yes.
your business changes. And so the outcome of it. So if it's something that has that replayability, are you more or less likely to keep it? And so all those elements, there's so many that we look at to say, how do I engineer this in a way that makes you want to keep it and go back to it again? And it keeps us top of mind.
Man, wow. I could see how I can see how all types of businesses can benefit from this. Yeah. I mean, even like I told you before, what I do in the beginning with the good news website, I can see because I got to get sponsors for that. I can see I can benefit from this.
Yeah.
One of the things I really love to hear from people are the feel-good stories. Can you share a feel-good story of a business or person, nonprofit, whatever, that you were able to help out because of your products?
Yeah, it's my God. I think this is what inspires me with the business because when a box drops in market and you see the client hold the box for the first time, it's probably my favorite part of the process because they see their genius truly come to life. And the one piece of feedback we consistently get is when you go physical is not as forgiving as digital. Digital, right. I upload a PDF and I need to make edits, I can just upload a new PDF or refilm the video. Physical, once it goes to print, you want to make sure that it's ready to go to print and you're happy with where it is because the only other option is reprint. And so there's a different threshold when it comes to that. And so this is kind of where we always get the feedback of, we force our clients to get clear on what they're asking their customers to do. And just by doing that, they get excited because it reduces so much pressure off of them because now they have a whole box set that kind of is their genius coming to life. And then for consumers, like I remember when we launched a whole physical product experience for my friend Maya Camarota, she helps women 30 to 70 years of age who have devoted their life to their kids or their significant other. She's like, she helps them reclaim their identity and reclaim their power in a really beautiful way.
Oh, wow.
That like, there's your genius and what you have in front of you. There's something that you were born to do. It's already written in the stars. It's time for you to step into that identity. And how we brought Maya to life, what was amazing was we introduced this box and she had a virtual event with a couple hundred people. And out of the gates, when the box landed before the event, you had about 20 to 25% of people post videos or pictures or updates as a result of getting the box. We had people who were going through a program literally break down in tears because they started to realize, I am worthy of this. I'm worthy of this mission. I'm worthy of this. It's rewiring the self-love and the self-beliefs. And so to see all of these people, it started with 25%, but then when you have a virtual event and about 25% are getting loud from getting the box, it creates this ripple effect to all the other members to start to actually pay attention to this. And then you just see those numbers grow and grow over the couple of days for her virtual event. And the exercises we did that were all about taking a concept that was digital and making it real. She has this concept of be heard now. And she told me the story that people started getting tattoos of her quote in her script, be heard now, identified with it. And so what do we put in the box for one of the days? Temporary tattoos that said be here now. And so all of a sudden, when she introduced the exercise, you see hundreds of people having the be her now tattoo on their arm. And the story that she tied to that just fit with her message is, as the tattoo fades, it's not disappearing, it's absorbing into your body, it's absorbing into your identity. And so this is the power of a physical experience that can really transform how your customers are engaging with you or thinking about you. And for her, it's heavy on rewiring beliefs. And that's what the box was set out to do, is, can I shape your beliefs? But keep in mind, now that you have this box, it can, in this situation, become the thing that continues to hold your hopes and dreams and wishes. And so the box is not just a box, it's a container for your life.
It sounds like this is the new type of business card.
For me, I like it a lot more than business cards because my business cards are missing. So it's something physical that takes up a little bit more space than a business card. I love that concept and idea, and especially as an acquisition play, 57 hats. You may not hire us now, but we exist. And if we continue to introduce more products and services that complement the people who are going down that route, we've started to build that know, like, and trust by giving them a lot of value in a simple box experience, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If we introduced other elements of that, how to optimize your hiring process, how to be a better manager, and here's tools to support that. All of a sudden, we have this ecosystem that people are going to be a lot more comfortable purchasing more and more from us and extending lifetime value because they had such a good experience with our initial product.
So what advice would you give the companies looking to integrate experiential marketing into their strategies?
Yeah, great question. For us, it starts with the anchors. And so when I say the anchor, it starts with the back end. What is success for you? So I want to get really clear on what is success for the company, because a business needs revenue to thrive. It is the lifeblood of the business. Yep. And so part of what I want to know is, in any experience, what is success for whatever this campaign is that we're doing? And success can be broken down into two ways. What is success for the business and what is success for your customer? Because those are two very different things. After we really get clear on what that is, on the back end or on the front end, I want to understand, how are we educating them and preparing them for the journey? So that onboarding process is critical. We want to minimize your customer saying, I don't have what it takes, I'm overwhelmed, I don't think I'll be able to be successful. We want them to understand and remind them why they started this, but understand that there's a clear pathway. Why do we love the pathway? Because if I have a pathway that is broken down into 5 phases, start here, then phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get the outcome. If you go from phase 1 to phase 2, and I can show you that you have, I'm getting you into momentum because it's the micro steps getting to the outcome as to why they bought your product and service. So that's something that we look at. And if you tell me you're in phase 2, then I can say without a shadow of a doubt, you have gone through a transformation. You're no longer at start here. You're no longer at phase 1. You've gotten one step closer. And if you complete phase 2, you're just a step closer to phase 3. And before you know it, you're going to be done. And so this is kind of where, just as a business owner, if I know where you are in my process, I can coach or advise you to quickly get unstuck into the next pace. But if I don't have that structure in place, then you're kind of operating blind. And if you really don't understand or can't successfully diagnose what's going on with the customers or clients you're working with, how do they know when they've achieved success? And so this is kind of why, when you cross the finish line of a marathon, you know that you've completed it. I'm working with a coach right now. Last year, I've been going through my midlife crisis. And what I mean by that is when I crossed from 39 to 40, that was a massive awakening for me. because in my late 30s, I got up to 250 pounds. I started at the beginning of last year. I think it was in the 220s. Now I'm in the 160s. And that physical transformation, the program that I'm working with, the guy works with men CEOs who are anywhere from 30 to 70, and he helps lean you out to a six-pack. So what is success? Do you have a six-pack? Yes or no? I love the shape I'm in. I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm not 100% at six-pack. The six-pack's coming. I'm close to it. But it's a marker to say, am I successful with this program? Right now, the answer is no, because I don't have a six-pack, like a fully defined six-pack.
Yeah.
But the second I do, it's black and white. I do have it. So I know I've been successful. So like, this is why, from a business perspective, defining success for you and your customer is such a critical thing. And businesses just don't do it.
No. Something very important. Tell everybody how they can find you and get your products.
Yeah, no, thank you. You can always go to customboxagency.com, book a free consultation with us. We love hearing what people are doing. We love to chat and learn more about your business. But we have so much fun with what we do. And then LinkedIn, you can find me, Mark R. Stern on LinkedIn, or you can hit me up on Facebook as well. But I would say that's the easiest way to find us.
All right. So have you started the podcast yet?
It's coming. About to.
And what's the name of it?
Game Maker is what's the name of it. And part of the reason we went with Game Maker is in the world of experience design. And especially if you've ever seen like Hunger Games or even what are the popular ones?
Squid Games or whatever. Yeah.
Squid Games. Perfect example. The Game Maker is close to the game. This is the person who creates and engineers. And the thing about it is, do you want to be the player or do you want to be the person who creates the universe for your people? And for me, I love being the role of creating the universe that helps them get results faster. So this identity of a game maker and thinking about crafting the experience for our customer is what we're going to be exploring. And it also gives us an opportunity to kind of unveil some of our own products and the step-by-step process so people can see the creation of some of the things that we're doing. I'm totally taking my midlife crisis that I've been going through and turning into a physical product to help other people who are going through that shift that I went through. And I see it rampant with men in their 40s. But like I can take something that's a life experience and turn it into a physical product to help other people. But I'm truly the game maker, defining the rules and the experience and the terms of what success is. And so that's kind of why that's the name of the podcast.
All right. You have to get a shirt that says, I'm the game maker.
I will.
You have to get it done because you wear it out there. Everybody's going to be asking you, why are you the game maker? And just have a giant QR code on the back so people can scan it and go right to your website.
We love QR codes.
Now, are you going to actually, when you start the podcast, are you going to be interviewing any of the clients you've had?
Totally. So I interview clients. I want guests. I want people who are doing exciting things. For us, experience design is any type of customer experience. All of that category to me is, I think that like experience is as a differentiator is becoming more relevant now than ever, especially in the age of AI. And for me, again, physical, we are physical beings. Humans are physical touch. I remember when Kindle came out and I was like, I'll never buy another book again. And yet, what do I do now? I don't like reading from an e-reader.
Neither do I.
Book. I don't like journaling, typing. I like pen to paper to write. So for me, that physical element, we keep getting more disassociated from it. And it could not be more relevant now than ever.
Yeah. That's one of the things that gets me about even the younger generation. Like my daughter's 23.
Yeah.
And when it comes to books, because I got her e-reader when she was younger, didn't like it. All her friends have the physical books and they don't get rid of them.
And they don't get rid of them.
They'll
pay
keep
attention.
Them. Yeah.
This is the thing. There are things in your home you just do not. My father and mother, when they moved out of my childhood home, this was like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. My dad had I think it was like an Epson printer box from like the 1990s that had like the holes that you had to line up the paper. And he's like,
dot matrix.
He's dot matrix. Yeah. And he was like, do you want this? And I looked at him like, What am I going to do with it? And he's like, it's like a collector's item, but he still saved the box for 30 plus years. He still has his 8-track tapes and no means to play them. He still has his record player. But why is it that we save these items? It's the replayability for this case, because someday you may want to go back and play it again.
Yeah.
So it's like there's things that if you just pay attention, how do I take that insight and engineer it into things that as a business owner allow me to stay top of mind and relevant to my people?
As you say that, I look over to the right and I can still see all my records.
I love it
there from when I played. Oh my God. But you're right. We don't get rid of stuff.
Yeah. And there's other things you take and just toss in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. 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 Some of the things you wish you never did toss, like the old G.I. Joes with the real hair. It's like, oh my God, there was some money.
Yeah. My parents gave me a box of original Nintendo games from when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
Hooked the Nintendo to my TV because the outlet, like the plugs just aren't the same anymore.
No.
But I was just like, I honestly, and I can't throw them out because I'm like, these are collector's items. This is my childhood. But I have literally have no means to play it. And then with other modern Nintendo Switch and whatnot, you can just get it for free. It's just built into the emulator. So it's just amazing that I have a means to play the game, but I can't be apart from the actual cartridge from the 1980s.
It's like my son, and my son's in his 30s, but we have a tote of his things over here from when he was a kid, like the Buzz Lightyear stuff and Woody and all his Pokemon cards, and he won't take them. My wife's like, well, we can't get rid of them.
It's amazing. And another example is there are empty nesters all throughout the country.
Yes.
That have trophies for their kids that when they were 3 or 4 years old playing t-ball or soccer, that trophy you got for just playing. But for whatever reason, even though they've been out of the house for years, we can't get rid of these. So pay attention, because things that have your name and recognize you, we do a terrible job recognizing people. But you put your my graduate diploma from Duke, it's a piece of paper. It probably costs the university a buck or two.
Right.
We keep that piece of paper for the rest of our lives, but it's a piece of paper. But why? And there's just again, it's personalized. It's about achievement. But I will never throw out that piece of paper. But it's literally a piece of paper.
Oh my God! You mentioned the trophies. I had a flashback because I bought my parents' house, the house I'm in now. I grew up in. I bought it from my parents back in '95. I didn't realize that when they sold it to me and they moved, they weren't going to take stuff with them. So yeah, all the trophies from everybody, and I'm still finding stuff.
I know
it's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous because it brings back memories, but it's like, okay, finally, I just said, if I'm not going to be using it, I need to get rid of it.
Yeah, and
then I look at other things like something about fine. Yeah, it's like
hold on to it a little bit longer.
Yeah,
visiting in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yep. All right. So before I get to my last question, Mark, is there anything you would like to add?
Anything that I would like to add? I mean, the biggest thing that I tell any business owner, and it's what changed the game for me. I came from corporate. Mm-hmm. If anyone came from corporate or more traditional America and make the game to wanting to start a business and be an entrepreneur, the biggest lesson I learned, and it took me a while to get there, is the best analogy I can use is corporate versus entrepreneurship is like checkers versus chess. The game board looks the same. The game board is the same, but the rules are completely different. So if you're playing checkers with chess rules, you will lose. If you play chess with checkers rules, you will lose. And I mentioned that because I was in corporate America. I consider myself a high performer in corporate America. And I was like, when I make the leap into entrepreneurship, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to be a high performer and it's going to be great. And that was so far from the truth. I crashed and burned and could not figure out how to navigate the game at all. And then it was a moment that I paused and was like, you're playing entrepreneurship with corporate rules. So once I took a step back and said, let me understand how to play and build a business and navigate this game. Once I learned how to play the game of entrepreneurship, my competitive edge was all the experiences I had before. So the corporate experience that I had was the thing that truly was my competitive edge when I learned to play the game that everyone else was playing in entrepreneurship. And so that's something that is important is if you're struggling with what you're doing, are you playing the right game? Do you have the right lens on how to play the game? Are you trying to play a game that worked in a different domain in this? Mm-hmm. And so that's just something to think about. But the second I did that and was like, you're approaching this entrepreneurship completely wrong, and humbled myself and took a step back and then learned to play and then layered on my skills, that was where things really started to change for me.
It's actually good advice.
Yeah.
How many times, and this ain't my last question, but how many times have you yourself played 57 hats for you?
Oh, many. Trust me. I love to pull it out because sometimes you start to think about a business problem. And then when I go through 57 hats through the lens of a business problem of like thinking about like, I need like, for us, we are so good at delivery. We're exceptional at delivery. Yeah. But sales is something I can do and I'm good at. It's not my superpower. And so one of the things we're looking at is how do we start to think through a sales engine and how to structure it and what are the roles that we need? So I can go through and do a brainstorm to say, okay, if we truly want to grow and develop a department, what am I doing and what do I need? And if I go through 57 hats, it kind of helps me kind of create a blueprint that I can then start to pressure test. And then the question becomes, is this someone I need to hire? Is this someone I need to train on my team? Or is this something that AI and automation could service some of the parts of the roles that, And so that's kind of for me where it's fun to go through and think of it through the lens of that.
Every business and nonprofit, and I want to say even entrepreneur, solopreneur, authorpreneur, they need this. They need actually 57 hats, activate deck, and they just need it all. Just get it, people. Plain and simple. It makes sense. I mean, go to customboxagency.com and get them. All right. So Mark, pick a number between 1 and 100. And I have a funny feeling I know what number you're going to pick.
We'll see. 35.
Oh, damn. You threw me off. I thought for sure you were going to say 57.
57 was the next one, but 35.
All right. Why 35?
You know what? I think growing up, it was for whatever reason my lucky number. And so I'd love to see where it goes.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, I think number 35, this question goes well with what we've been talking about better than number 57 would have.
Oh, good. Then I called it right. All right.
So if you had to describe your life's purpose in one sentence, what would it be?
In one sentence, I honestly, more recently, this has changed. Because I would have said that my life's purpose is about simplifying your customer's transformation. There's a lot of pain in the world, and businesses make it too hard for their customer to get a result. And so to make it easier, there's an upside for the customer because we can address the pain points and help them move on to the next thing. And for the business, it's about lifetime value. So I would have said that. To where I am right now, at now 41 years of age, and going through kind of like that life crisis that I went through. Right. I did not know that the average that when it comes to suicide, that the average that 78 to 80% of suicides are men. I didn't realize it skewed more to men, and I would have thought it was like teenagers or people late in life who were just done with this chapter, but it's not. It's men in their 40s. Veterans. So that woke me up now as a man in my 40s, and what I just went through with this realization, and what kicked it in for me was I read an article that said the average human in the US lives to 78. And at 39, you are literally at the midpoint of life if you're accepting this age of 78. I reject 78 as like, for me, I want to be a lot older than 78. But this is what the stat said, that they did a report, and at 78, 39 is truly the midpoint. That's what sent me into my midlife crisis of, have I done what I want to do at this one life I'm giving? Am I where I need to be? And who do I want to be in this next chapter of life? So like, that's why, I call it 39 in life. I felt like my back was against the wall between being 39 years old and life. So to answer your question, I do think my life's mission is evolving into how do I help, especially men, navigate this chapter in a way that helps them step into their true authentic self, step into their power in terms of how they show up and serve. But that is kind of what's transitioning when I think of this next product we're going to build is, I see a lot of men that feel unsafe or feel trapped or in a relationship they may got into at a young age and they didn't know who they were. Right. How do I give you back your power in a way that you can step into and like maximize the other half of whatever life crisis you're having or life opportunity, if you want to flip it. But like, it was a heavy year of processing, but now I've come out of it more excited about this next phase of life. And I want to be able to talk that to other people. Good. Hey, you're going to be like me. To me, I have a goal. My goal is to make it to at least 100. I love it. And I think I just heard on the news the other day, the oldest person in the world just celebrated their 113th birthday. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken, a few months ago, there was somebody that was 116 that had just passed. 116. We had a young lady on the podcast that's 101 and still has a trainer and writing books. Age is nothing but a number, brother.
It is. I mean, my dad is in his late 70s, and he is sharp as a tack. So,
yeah, but my mother-in-law's the same way. She's 93, I think, or 94, but very sharp and active on Facebook. It's like, wow. And people love her. So,
yeah, I know my dad reads all my posts because he comments to me about them. He doesn't comment on the post. So I just know he sees something, he reads it and studies it. And then we'll have a conversation. I'm like, you're totally following me on Facebook, which is totally fine. It's out there. So.
Oh, and my mother-in-law will call me out if I misspell something right away. Well, Mark, I want to thank you so much, man. It's been an honor, and I cannot wait to check out 57 Hats and the other ones. Those of you listening, make sure you get them.
Love it. Thank you so much, Rich. I really enjoyed the time, so appreciate you having me on.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. You know, it takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com. The Joppatown Lions Club. Serving the community since 1965. Visit them at joppatownlionsclub.org. And don't forget the E at the end of Joppatown because they're extraordinary.